Hi guys, my name is Michael and this is channel not just for the PS Vita fans. Welcome! The Definitive Edition of the remastered Grand Theft Auto Trilogy for all the major platforms is out, and I thought to myself that now is the best moment for the ultimate Grand Theft Auto PS Vita showcase. Initially I wanted to create a video just about the trilogy, but then I changed my mind as there is plenty of other options that PS Vita has to offer due to its backwards PS1 and PSP compatibility as well as emulators. Therefore today I'm creating a video about Grand Theft Auto the Ultimate PS Vita compilation. So without any further ado, let's dive right into it. First and foremost, I feel the urge to mention the absurdity of the recent Take-Two's threats, takedowns and lawsuits against the reverse-engineered projects. It is an utter abomination and I condemn any such actions towards their loyal fanbase. Take-Two went to great lengths to eliminate, break and wipe out all the signs of the mischief-making from homebrew community. I see this as a betrayal and I want to stress the point made by a fan of theirs, quote, "Based on what we've seen from Rockstar when it comes to this type of stuff, the modders put way more effort into modernizing their games than they do. One group is doing it for love of the games and the other is doing it as a cash grab, and that's in a nutshell my opinion as well. The main focus of the multi-billion-dollar companies is profit, of course, and the main focus of modders is obviously fun, as simple as that. And Take-Two is taking piss again. No additional content, just different engine, added fingers in the cutscenes, better lighting, etc. And the ultimate cherry on the top? Clearly that's gotta be the special and deliberate anti-consumer measure of removing the old versions from the Steam and Play Store and elsewhere and offering all the new remasters exclusively via the Rockstar launcher. And that's the ultimate slap in the face to everyone who's bought their games on Steam over the years. And let's just finish this Take-Two rant right here before it spirals out of control. Okay, so I figured the best way to do the list would be in chronological order, and that's what we are doing here, from the oldest release to the latest one. Therefore, we are starting with the ageless classic called Grand Theft Auto. This is where it all began. Originally published in 1997, and it is your classic top-down action-adventure fun arcade video game about carjacking and other criminal activities, with kind of satiric humor that stood the test of time. It would be a lie to say Grand Theft Auto 1 aged well. I'm playing here the PS1 version, but the first entry of the series is still a very solid example of the game well made. There are a few shortcomings, like no option for save states, but they are easily bypassed in the adrenaline settings, where you can create it no problem, and where you can also adjust a bunch of other different options in order to meet your personal preferences. All in all, I haven't played GTA as much as I have been playing the upcoming title, Grand Theft Auto 2, which is by far my favorite game based on the amount of time spent playing it. I know it might come as a surprise for many of you that somebody would intentionally spend so much time playing this top-down 2D action game from 1999. However, I can assure you this was a major step up from the first installment. This was your ultimate sequel. The graphics are prettier, the cars are faster, the streets are busier, the facts are nastier, and the weapons are deadlier. And now even the FBI and army are getting involved if you dare to cross the line of no escape. 7 ruthless gangs are involved in a reckless power struggle, and it is up to you to make a name for yourself. Respect is earned, not given. Now the game can be saved natively at any time outside missions in a central spot, or you can just save it in the native adrenaline save states even inside the missions, as we are playing the PS1 version via adrenaline. Many of my nostalgic memories are directly embedded into this one-of-a-kind masterpiece. The simple act of cruising and bulldozering in a tank felt like a dream come true, and I could not ever get enough of it. I had to carry on this frantic frenzy of never-ending annihilation. I have to carry on even now after almost 20 years since my first encounter, and it feels as good as it ever felt. I still can't get enough of it. It still is like a drug that keeps you coming back for more, even though you don't necessarily need it for your survival. It is better than GTA 5, in a way, and unfortunately you can't get it on a Steam, Play Store or even PS Store, in spite of fact it became a freeware long time ago. I was even trying to get it from the PKG store, but no luck either. So you can either get it by other means or you can get it from the Rockstar's website, but with a few strings attached, so beware. Also, I just wonder why these 2D GTAs are not part of the remastered trilogy, as well as that is the OG trilogy, GTA 1, 2 and 3, and not just GTA 3D trilogy. And at the same time, I just wish it would receive the same remastered treatment, but I'm sure this idea will stay firmly shut in the closet of all the Take-Two's mishaps. Thumbs down. We've got a 1034 in North Funabashi. Step by step, we are getting closer to the realm of the third dimension with the 2001 critically acclaimed blockbuster Grand Theft Auto 3. Welcome to the Liberty City, where it all began. I still do remember, when it originally came out, how my brother tried to run it on our old PC AMD Duron, single-core 800 MHz with 128 MB of RAM and 16 MB NVIDIA TNT2 Vanta graphics cards. It was like a PowerPoint slideshow presentation, but it was breathtaking nonetheless, and at the same time it felt like a gateway to the world of infinite possibilities. With a massive and diverse open world, stunning soundtrack, a wild cast of characters from every walk of life, and the freedom to explore at will, Grand Theft Auto 3 puts the dark, intriguing and ruthless world of crime at your fingertips. It is a game that defined the open world genre for a generation. The version I'm playing on the Vita is obviously the infamous RE3, that means the reverse-engineered Grand Theft Auto 3 that has been ported by Rin and Flow with the 10th year anniversary mod on top of it. That means the GTA 3 with all the bells and whistles one can imagine. The controls are modernized, you can choose whichever one you prefer, there can be custom skins added, you can have fun with all the existing cheats out there, plus the 10th year anniversary mod on top of it with all the removed radio tracks and added ambient sounds enhances the gameplay even further. If you haven't seen my previous video where I compared the two versions, I do recommend to check it out, as it's quite interesting to see what features have been improved and added. You can find the link for it down below. All in all, the quality life improvements of this Grand Theft Auto 3 version are far beyond its original potential, and they are far-reaching, therefore we can even consider it as a remastered version in its own way. And I do certainly feel blessed that I can enjoy it in the palms of my hands. It is indeed a dream come true, and I still wish Take-Two could see beyond the tips of its own nose. What a shame. Let's proceed 1 year further into the future, into the year 2002, when the Grand Theft Auto Vice City has been released. It is the fourth main entry in the Grand Theft Auto franchise, set in 1986 with the fictional Vice City, based on Miami. From decade of big hair, excess and pastel suits comes the story of a one-man rise to the top of the criminal pile. Vice City is a huge urban sprawl, ranging from the beach to the swamps and from the glitz to the ghetto. And it is the most varied, complete and alive digital city ever created, well, at least at that time period. Vibe and feel of the game exactly corresponds to what you see and hear from the device, so you got the impression you've moved back into the 80s. I'm enjoying here on my Vita again the REVC, aka Reverse Engineered Grand Theft Auto Vice City, with all the added functionality and features. There is no 10th anniversary mod available as of right now, however the diligent guys from the PG Team website never sleep, therefore we can expect to see one in the near future, with all the reworked and manually optimized textures of vehicles, wheels, hands of characters in cutscenes, environment textures, asphalt, grass as well as lightning, lights, headlights and rays of sun, among many other fixes and changes. The full changelog is already available for you to click on down below, even though the mod is not out yet, but it's fascinating to be a witness of this feat of modern day software heroism. I'm blown away by the sheer enthusiasm that drives them forward. Palce wierch, bracia. Next up, I believe that CJ or Carlos Johnson and his endeavors in the city of San Andreas. Rockstar Games brings its biggest release to mobile yet, and it brings it to the PS Vita simultaneously, as the PS Vita port is based on the San Andreas mobile. Therefore, the results and playability are spectacular, and no doubt this is the cream of the crop of the PS Vita mobile ports library. Alongside the Max Payne, we can't forget about that one, and maybe Bully, but just if it wouldn't crash as much, as the crashes are decreasing its enjoyability dramatically. Originally released in 2004 as a fifth entry in the franchise, unlike its predecessor, San Andreas introduced gameplay elements that were incorporated in later games, including RPG-style mechanics, customization options with both clothing and vehicle appearances, a vast array of activities and minigames, you could even swim when you jump into the water instead of dying, and the inclusion of gambling games. Like its predecessor, San Andreas is cited as a landmark in video games for its far-reaching influence within the industry. The game's violence and sexual content was a source of much public concern, outcry and controversy. And that's what we like in a cult game like this one. It was the best-selling video game of 2004, it is the best-selling PS2 game and one of the best-selling video games of all time, and it will always hold a special soft spot in our hearts. All things considered, San Andreas is my second favorite Grand Theft Auto title based on the time spent playing it. And I'll surely keep playing it in the future for some more, even in this non-remastered version. But beware, as the good Russian guys are working hard on the 10th anniversary mod for San Andreas as well. And be sure I'll keep you updated with all the latest happenings, thus it is beneficial to subscribe so you won't miss it. It is greatly appreciated. According to Wikipedia, San Andreas was released at the 26th of October 2004, and at the same day Grand Theft Auto Advance was published as well, and that's the subsequent title I wanna briefly touch. Grand Theft Auto Advance serves as a prequel to GTA 3, taking place 1 year before the game. This is what IGN has to say about it. This 2D Game Boy Advance design at the very least vastly improves at the originals and fixes the game so much that it is now a great recommended action title. It was definitely worth the long wait. And this is what I say about it. The playability via the mGBA emulator is good enough, there are some slowdowns though, as well as occasional audio stutters that might slightly hinder your ultimate experience. I still prefer the OG GTAs over it, but if you wanna try something new, then why not? We can also play Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 Game Boy Color versions, but I will get to it in the end. We are moving ahead to the 24th of October 2005, when Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories was published. Initially it was PSP exclusive, but 1 year later there was the PS2 port released, and in 2015-16 it arrived to iOS, Android and Fire OS. Liberty City Stories is the first 3D title in this series to be released for handheld devices and acts as a prequel to GTA 3. It received generally positive reviews from critics and was a commercial success. Game Chronicles made a nice statement about it. It is not often a console title can make the successful leap to handheld, but when that handheld version actually surpasses the console in many key factors, you know you have something special. I'm also making a nice statement about it. Liberty City Stories is a neat addition to the Grand Theft Auto saga, and when you want to get the most out of it playing it via Adrenaline on your PS Vita, make sure to play it on the 1000 OLED model with Grand Theft Auto Remastered Controls plugin enabled, which is a patch for dual analog stick support. The GTA Native Resolution plugin is also absolutely necessary, which is a patch that increases the internal resolution of the game from 480 by 277 to native Vita resolution 960 by 544. The trade-off is approximately 20 FPS instead of 30 and 16-bit color depth instead of 32-bit. And I'm absolutely fine with this trade-off. Both plugins were created by the GTA PS Vita head aficionado The Flow, that has his fingers in all of the GTA ports in one way or another. And this way I wanna send thundering ovations towards his great contribution in this field. Keep it up, bro, it's honored to have you here. The ultimate Liberty City experience. The ultimate Liberty City Stories experience can also be amended by high memory layout, 60 FPS patch, overclock and the recent cheat device remastered is also a nice bonus on top of it. Same plugins and amendments are also necessary in order to achieve the ultimate Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories playthrough, which is our following subject of interest, that debuted at 31st of October 2006, with the same progression as Liberty City Stories. First on PSP, then PS2 and finally mobile as well. The game acts as a prequel to the Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It received generally favorable reviews from critics. It won Best Handheld Game at Golden Joystick Awards 2007. It also received IGN's award for the Best Licensed Soundtrack on PSP in 2006. I approve all of these rewards as the soundtrack is sick and unforgettable, as majority of them are, and I also played it quite a bit more compared to Liberty City Stories, so the Best Handheld Game award is also a valid one.
You know you're dead, right? Shit, so I want to sell. I think he's drunk. You wanna die, you sicko? I got a hard on for you.
By the way guys, just a quick side note, have you ever wondered why they stopped including all the awesome goodies bundled with the physical releases? I still can't get over the fact we are moving from the spectacular maps, manuals and double covers to either empty case with download code or digital purchase only. It is a real shame and I just wish the companies would listen to its fans instead of whatever the hell they are doing right now. With that said, we are coming to the final game on this Ultimate Grand Theft Auto PS Vita Anthology, released in 2009 with the title Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. First it came onto the Nintendo DS, which was by the way a last Grand Theft Auto published on the Nintendo handheld up until now with the new Trilogy for the Switch. And if we wanna count how many GTA games were published on Nintendo home consoles up until now, it is the ultimate digit of 0. Not nil, none, never ever. What a surprise. So as I said, first published on DS, then PSP and later mobile. It has a different presentation from previous games in the series, by partially resembling the first OG GTA titles. It also uses cel-shaded polygons with black outlines to produce a comic book-like aesthetic, a first for the series, and it turned out very well in my opinion. I even dare to consider this game as my third most favorite one, based on the time spent playing it. I'm not sure why I played it so much, perhaps it got to do something with the fact it reminded me a lot of the OG GTAs. Nonetheless, the Chinatown Wars is solid addition in the PS Vita library, and I'm playing here the Android port of Chinatown Wars, not the PSP version. Okay, so where we at? Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, plus the Trilogy, that's 5, plus Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, Chinatown Wars, that's 8, plus Grand Theft Auto Advance and Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 for Game Boy Color, that's 11 Grand Theft Auto games altogether. Now, according to my logic, Chinatown Wars for PSP can be considered as a separate game due to its subtle nuances in gameplay mechanics, graphics and overall look and feel, plus some added content. That's 12 for now, as we don't know what the future holds. There might be GTA Liberty City Stories mobile coming as well. That would be 13, but for now it's 12, so it's more than enough. PS Vita still proves to be the ultimate Grand Theft Auto machine, and even though it cannot run the new remastered Trilogy, I still believe the 10-year-old hardware is handling all those masterpieces more than sufficiently. Long live the Vita, and long live the ultimate PS Vita compilation. And what about you guys? Do you like all the GTA titles PS Vita has to offer? Which one are your top 3? Let me know down below. We are coming to the part of the video where I tell you if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with the other PS Vita enthusiasts. It means a lot to me and to the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to check out our Discord server and follow me on social media. You can also support the channel. All the links are down below. Sub to the channel means you most likely won't miss upcoming content. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.